It's evening here at Honeydrop Farm in St. Mary's, Kansas. There's the sunset. In the last video I said 60 splits, and that's true, we did 60. But when, there are a lot of them were very weak splits, and some of the weak ones didn't do well enough to where they could thrive. So it's more like 53-ish right now, and that number may go down again, and I may also do some splits again, so who knows, we may actually hit 60. But anyway, I'm out here to feed this pollen patty mixed at home. I got some dry pollen substitute, Ultra B from Man Lake, mixed it with some sugar syrup to make it kind of doughy. Sometimes I make it slightly less doughy than this with a little more sugar syrup. But anyway, this is not as good as bee bread from real pollen that the bees collect from flowers, but at least it's adequate quantity so that they have enough proteins and fats in their diet until the flowers really start to pick up again, the goldenrod. Anyway, at some point I'll do a video on how I mix this. It's really simple. But I'm going to go down the line and feed some of these bees. We do have small hive beetles around here, and it is the season for them, so I don't want to give them a huge, humongous patty, because the small hive beetles will lay their eggs in those if they don't get eaten fast enough. So these got a nice big piece of pollen patty several days ago, and they ate it all, so I'm going to give them another big piece. These bees are doing pretty well. So to get them off the lid without crushing them, I just set the lid like this, bang, and then I can put it back on. And it's kind of hard to do with one hand. Sorry if the camera is a little, isn't pointing in a direction that makes sense sometimes. When you're managing this many colonies, it's helpful to make notes on the lids, I find. I put duct tape on there. So everybody has their own code when they do this. My code is I put the date, put my little notes. QR is queen right. NQ might be no queen or needs queen. 3.5 strong frames. And then, WF would be weak frames. 3 strong frames, 2 weak frames, 4.5 strong frames. So yeah, some of these could definitely be split again before the weather gets really cold. And others not. I'm gonna check out these bees. When you give bees smoke, it makes them not concentrate on the fact that there's somebody tearing the roof off of their house and poking around where their babies are. And it makes them focus on the fact that, oh no, our house might be about to burn down. So then they will not be as defensive. So you saw the big glob that I put in this hive, the big glob of pollen patty. Well, that's what it looked like a few days ago when I put the pollen patty in here. You can see they've come in around the edges where they can reach under the lid, and they've eaten it away like this. So they're eating it. In fact, you can see them eating on it now. So if they're eating on it, they need it. Anyway, I guess I'll probably give them a little bit more. Because otherwise they'll run completely out by the next time I come around. So I don't want to smash any of my precious little bees. So I'm gonna bang them off. And if they're walking on the pollen patty, they'll get smashed. Right now nobody's walking on the pollen patty, so I'm gonna quickly put the lid on. Studies have been done in Europe apparently that I've heard of. I haven't read any research papers or anything, but where sprinklers were placed in an apiary to imitate rain, and then the bees quit bringing in pollen, they quit foraging. And within a few hours of stopping foraging, the nurse bees started to ration out the food given to the young larvae. So they were not getting as much nourishment as they normally would. So the liquid that they put down in there, some of it's royal jelly, some of it's worker jelly. It comes from glands on their heads, and they can't make that stuff. If the nurse bees can't make that stuff, if they don't have a bunch of proteins and fats to eat that come from pollen. And so the point of the pollen patty is to make sure that they have a steady supply of that the young larvae have a steady supply of those foods, so that they can grow up to be strong, healthy, long-lived adult bees. These bees obviously are eating their pollen patty. There's not a lot of bees. I'm not going to give them any more than that. It's still pretty moist. It'll be okay. If it were really dry, they would quit eating it even if they were starving. I'm kind of looking at what I'm doing rather than at the screen, so hopefully this video isn't completely worthless as far as being able to see stuff. Anyway, I'm going to keep feeding these and probably not finish before dark, so I'll finish in the morning. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. This is Sean Govan at Honey Drop Farm.